Hey out there, yogis, and welcome to day 3 of our 7-day yoga challenge. Today's practice is about stability. So I've taken a few of the exercises I've learned and just kind of built on those so we can work stabilizing muscles and just have some fun with it too. So grab 2 blocks if you've got them. If you don't have blocks, this practice might be a little difficult. Grab a few stacks of hardcover books for some of the poses, and a pillow or something that you can hold on to for other poses. We're just gonna live on the edge and do what we can, right? So find a quiet spot, roll out your mat, and let's do this thing. All right, yogis, we're gonna start on our backs with one of the blocks or a blanket fold that you've got. And I start class a lot like this lately. I just really like it. So you're gonna grab your block or your blanket nugget, lift your hips, and you're gonna slide your block right underneath that bone at the base of your spine. And take a few moments just to relax here. To close your eyes. To let the weight of your pelvis drop and to encourage the muscles in your low back, the muscles in your mid back to start to relax, almost like they could drape off the block or the blanket. And while you're here draping, you can start to breathe. Maybe slightly deeper, more full breaths. Just feel the floor underneath you. The energy in your body, or lack thereof, depending on time of day. Just tune in. And let your breath kind of wash away the dealings of the day, even if you have to pick them right back up when you step off your mat. All right, on your next inhale, you're gonna take your arms up, stretch them overhead, and then bend your elbows, and you're gonna bring them almost into a cactus. So your thumb and your index finger touch overhead, and just relax here for a moment. And you can play with, if you want, stretching your legs out straight. Some days I find that feels really great. Some days I find it feels like crap. So just play with it. If that doesn't work for you, keep your feet flat on the mat and your knees bent, and just let the weight of your arms drop down. If you've got your legs extended, walk them back in underneath you, and you're just gonna take the arms down and around. Press into your feet, lift your hips. You're gonna slide the block out and slowly lower down. And from here, you're gonna take the block or that blanket nugget. Ideally, you can bring it between your thighs, give it a squeeze, and then lift your knees up off the mat. You're gonna take your arms out to the sides. We're gonna do a little bit of core work, right? Because that's super stabilizing. As much as we kind of dread the core work, we're gonna do it, right? So squeeze the block. Feel your low back press into the floor because the strength of your core muscles are hugging in and down. And you're gonna take your knees and just tip them gently to the right, maybe like a third of the way over. Nothing major. Inhale, come back up through the middle. And when you exhale, tip those puppies over to the left. Same thing, squeeze the block. Inhale, back up to center. You're gonna take your knees and tip them maybe a little bit lower toward the floor. If that doesn't feel good, then rewind and don't go so deep into the twist. Feel your left shoulder sink toward the mat and keep your belly button drawing in. And as your knees tilt to the right, you wanna feel your navel slide a little bit to the left. Yeah. Inhale up through the middle. And when you exhale, you're gonna tip over the same amount this side, squeezing the block, pull the belly button back, and again, this time you're gonna slide it to the right. Inhale up through the middle, and when you exhale, tip your knees as far over to the right as you can manage without losing it and without bringing pain into the posture. Belly button in as it slides to the left. And then inhale up through the middle. And when you exhale, tip yourself gently over to the left as far as you feel comfortable going. You want to try to stay rooted through this right side. Keep the squeeze on the blocks. You got this. Come back up through the middle. You're going to take the block. Keep it in your hand for a second. Drop your feet to the mat. And maybe if you need to, rock a little bit side to side. All right, now you're gonna take the block or the blanket nugget. So if the blanket doesn't work for you and you don't have the block, just pretend you've got one. It's not exactly necessary for this next thing. You're gonna take it long ways between your feet and let your arms and your shoulders rest by your sides. You're gonna keep the squeeze on the block and just do some little circles. Like you were just drawing on the ceiling here. And then start to make those circles a little bit bigger. And as you do, feel the muscles in your belly kind of churn around the same circles that you're rolling with the block. And you can go bigger and bigger, as long as you don't lose the connection of your back to the floor and your core to your core. Makes no sense, but you know what I mean. There we go. And then you're going to take those circles in the other direction, keeping them big. Be honest with yourself. If it's too much today, go a little bit less. If it's not enough and you tend to kind of skimp out, then push yourself a little bit. You know you. And then start to make those circles smaller and smaller and smaller. And smaller. By now your belly's probably churning big time. And tiny, and tiny, and tiny. Until you come back to the middle. Bend your knees. You're gonna grab the block, flip it one more time, bring it between your thighs. And we're gonna do a bridge here. So start to shuffle the upper arms in, shoulder blades hug toward each other, press into your feet and lift your hips. And give that squeeze, same squeeze to the block. Tailbone long. Yes, inhale. And when you exhale slowly, you're gonna lower it back down. Okay, same thing again, but we're gonna take it a little bit deeper in. Press into your feet, lift your hips. Doesn't have to be a mega bridge. In fact, you want your knees, your hips, and your shoulders kind of on a straight line down. You're gonna shift right into your left foot. Hug the block with your inner thighs and lift your right leg up and kick it straight out. Extend through your heel, squeeze the block, and notice how your right hip just wants to wilt, but keep it active and lifting. So this is really great. You ask, why are we doing this? This is really great to strengthen these smaller muscles, the pelvic muscles that help to support your low back. So these are stabilizers. We just don't work them very often, which is why it's so dang hard. And then right foot to the mat, squeeze, and lift and extend the left. Keep that block holding tight. Try not to wilt through your hips. It's really hard. I know, but keep with it. Inhale. And when you exhale, left foot down, slowly lower to the mat. You're gonna grab your block and bring it toward the other one here. And from here, you're just gonna hug your knees in for a second. Roll to your right side and come on up and find a table, but we're gonna do a slightly different variation of table today. This one is a new favorite. So you're gonna take the block under your left hand and the other block under your right knee. So you're just gonna tuck your right toes under. If you wanna go a little bit more turbo into this, you can slide the block forward so it's just your knee on the block. If you want a little more support, you can slide it back a bit so your shin is also balanced there. All right, so we're in this crazy concoction of table. And now from here, you're gonna pull your belly in and stretch the left leg straight back. Take the left leg, lift it up, low belly in, take the right arm, reach it forward. Now you have the option here to now lift your right toes off the mat.
Inhale, and it's gonna be shaky. As you exhale, elbow to knee, hug them in underneath. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hug it in underneath. One more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hug it in. And then stretch it back out. Right hand down, left knee down. We switch sides. Block under the left leg. Block under your right hand. Boop. Okay, and same thing if you want to challenge yourself a little more, maybe slide that block forward. All right, and now we're going to lift up. Right leg back behind you. And now that the hips can be square, you want to pull the low belly in. Float that right leg up. And then float the left arm forward. And then lift those left toes from the mat. You can even try to hug your heel in toward your glute there for an even more challenge. Inhale. I'm gonna tip over. Okay, it's like a circus here. Inhale, and when you exhale, elbow to knee. Hug it in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. It's wobbly. Just embrace the wobble. Inhale, it's your muscles working. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale, extend it out. And then place the left hand, place the right knee. We can get rid of both the blocks for just a moment. Take your hands to the mat, and we're gonna spin the fingertips either out to the long edges of the mat or spin them around and take a bit of a stretch here. All right, tuck your toes under, sit up for just a minute, roll out your wrists. All right, now you're gonna grab one of your blocks and step to the top of your mat. Okay? All right, so now we're gonna take the block and put it between your thighs. So this is a good one just to help relieve any low back tension, but also to help fire up your legs in a different way. So we're gonna stand in Tadasana first. You wanna feel the tailbone lengthen down while you squeeze the block and kind of roll the inner thighs in just a hair. Now you don't wanna tuck your tailbone so much that you become a Pez dispenser and the block plops out forward. And you don't wanna curl your inner thighs back so much that you eject the block behind you. You want to find that happy medium of curling in and lengthening down. All right? And then inhale, take your arms, reach them up. As you exhale, dive forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, keep the squeeze. Exhale and fold. Press into your feet. Inhale, come back up, Urdhva Hastasana. And when you exhale, dive right back over the legs. We're going to do 2 more just like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale and fold. Press the ground away. Squeeze through the blocks. Reverse your swan dive. And then go right back over. Folding as you go. Inhale, lengthen. And release. And then press into your feet. Rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. And this time bring your hands down through prayer. And now we're going to add on. Super fun. Inhale, come out and up. Exhale and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. This time when you exhale, you're going to bend your knees, plant your hands, and walk your feet back into downward facing dog. You can always add a hop later if you're feeling saucy. But you're going to squeeze the block here. Press your hands into the mat. Inhale, come forward into plank. Exhale, drop your knees, chest and chin. In a baby cobra, you're gonna get uncomfortable here for a second, but squeeze the block as you curl up. And then release, tuck your toes, press up, stretch back, downward facing dog. Take your gaze forward and tiptoe to the top of your mat. If you drop the block, just grab it again. No worries. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Press into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana. And hands down through prayer. All the while, that block is getting a healthy squeeze. Let's do it again. Inhale, come out and up. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift. And downward facing dog. Yeah. It should feel a little more liberating, gosh, I hope, in down dog with the block to squeeze. Feels like it gives you more space in your legs. I don't know, it does for me. Now, come on forward into your plank. You can knees, chest, chin, or you can chaturanga. And low cobra or upward facing dog, try not to let that block get dunked down onto the floor. Although mine did. Downward facing dog. Pull it back. And gaze forward, walk, or live on the edge and hop it up. Inhale halfway. Exhale and fold. Press into your feet. Come all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana. And down through prayer. Last one just like that. Inhale, come out and up. Exhale and fold. Lengthen on your inhale. And downward facing dog. Ooh, I'm gonna hop. It feels good to hop. Inhale, come forward into plank. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Baby cobra, woo, or an upward facing dog. And then pull it back. Downward facing dog. Gaze forward, walk, or hop. Uttanasana. Ooh, I almost lost it. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale and release. Keep squeezing that block. Last time, inhale, come on up. And exhale, hands down through prayer. Okay, for just a moment, I'm gonna give you a break with the block. You can take it out. Yeah, legs are awake now, right? But there's a steadiness here in the flow. There's a stability when we've got this working with us. So we're gonna keep using it. Yes, we are. So from here, you're gonna bring the block between your hands or the book, right? If you don't have a block, you can grab one of your books and we can use it. Or a water bottle. I should have thought of that too. A water bottle end to end will work. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, we're gonna sink into the hips, coming into chair. You're gonna take the block between your thighs, you guessed it, and give it a squeeze while we're here in chair. Shift your weight onto your right foot. And as wonky as it sounds, we're gonna squeeze the block, but lift your left heel up. Take your right hand to grab for the block. And from here, we're gonna step back into warrior two. Yeah. You got it. Shoulder blades in. Press into the floor. Inhale, straighten your right leg. As you exhale, come out and over for Trikonasana. Let the block come underneath your hand here. So now you don't have to worry so much about what's going on here, but you can really focus on this rotation of your torso. Feel the opening through your chest and the length in your spine. Yes. Press into your feet, reach with these left fingertips. Inhale, come up. Bring in the block as you go. When you exhale, bend your right knee. This time they're gonna take the block to the inside of your foot for a little side angle. You can take it whatever level you want. Start to shift forward gently as you take your left arm up and alongside your ear. Yeah, and this is also super nice to do with a block once in a while. It just feels a little more merciful than it normally does. Keep your tailbone reaching, spine long, inhale. And when you exhale, you're gonna windmill this left hand down, pivot on the ball of your back foot, scoot your right foot out to the side a bit, and now you're gonna take this block, or the blanket nugget now, if you want the blanket nugget, and we're gonna come into a lizard with the block underneath our thigh. Right? So you want it placed above your knee, enough so it feels actually comfortable, and you can stay up on your hands. I like to untuck the back toes and let my back foot soften. You can lower down if you want to here. Feel your shoulders relax. Check out your head. All right, you're gonna tuck your toes under, slide your hands underneath you. Come on up, lift that left thigh off the block. Drop your left knee, slide the block forward so it comes under your left hand. And now we're gonna slowly bend that left knee, reach back, and try to grab for the foot. Roll your right shoulder open and breathe. If you want more stretch, you can lower your forearm onto the block. That's it. Then we're going to drop the foot, bring the hands to the inside here, hop this back foot forward. You guessed it. Place the block between your thighs, bring your feet closer together. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Press the floor away. Inhale, come all the way back up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, sink your hips. We're going to come back into our chair pose, squeezing the block. All right, from here, you're going to shift into this left foot and see if you can, while squeezing that block, lift your right heel in. The left hand's going to grab the block as we step the right leg back, coming into warrior two on this side. Yeah. Arm bones in. Press the feet into the mat. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, come out and over and use that block. Trikonasana. And now you've got the stability here in your foundation, the strength and the steadiness to really work the feet into the mat, to feel the length in your spine, and to really open it up if you want to. Press into your feet, lead with your right hand, inhale up, exhale, warrior two, bring the block with you. All right, and then from here, a little side angle. Gonna bring it down, your right hand can come to your hip while you decide what block height you want. And start to lean your inner thigh into your arm into your inner thigh. Curl this left side underneath you as you press the right foot into the mat. Take your left arm alongside your ear. Inhale. And then exhale, we're gonna windmill it down, pivot on the ball of your back foot, squeegee that left foot over. And then from here, we're gonna slide the block back. Gotta find the sweet spot there. When you find it, you can let your right thigh rest on the block. You can untuck your toes, staying upright here if you want, or perhaps you can lower it down and breathe. Let your shoulders soften. And slide your hands back underneath you. Lift that right thigh up. From here, you're gonna lower the back knee, step the left foot back to meet your right, and then take the block, you guessed it, between your inner thighs. Yeah, and you're gonna tuck the toes under, bring your hands to your hips, roll your shoulders back, and give your block a squeeze. Yes. All right, and then from here, you're gonna place your thumbs into your armpits, because what better place for them? I don't know. This is a good one, right? So the hips can press forward a little bit. You've got the squeeze on the block, so it'll keep you under control, ideally, right? Toes tucked. You're gonna lift yourself up and start to arch back, coming into a camel prep. You can stay right here. If this is good for you, squeeze the block, keep the chest lifted. If you wanna see what it feels like to kind of find one heel, then maybe the other. There's a pretty big stretch here. So take a minute. You can take your gaze up, flip it back. If you're up here, just start to feel, you can even untuck your toes and take your weight back a little bit. Then we're gonna come on up, place the hands, keeping the block between your thighs, walk your hands forward, and then lower down onto your forearms. You can interlace your fingers if you'd like. Elbows shoulder distance apart. Tuck your toes and walk yourself back. All right, you're gonna keep the squeeze on the block. And breathe. So while we're here, I'm just going to talk about why we do this. So this is a really great pose to help strengthen your, your core muscles. Of course, it also helps to strengthen, again, your pelvic floor and your pelvic muscles. So when you're 80, you don't sneeze and pee your pants, which is, you know, a good thing. So we strengthen these muscles. Take another breath. And when you exhale, drop your knees and let your hips move back to your heels. And take a second here. Take the block out and slide it underneath your forehead as we work your way into a child's pose. Okay, we're gonna do one more. So come on up. Take the block between your thighs. Here we go. Walk your hands forward. You can interlace those fingers. Tuck your toes. Lift up. Squeeze the block as you push your heels back. Try to keep your shoulders over your wrists. Try not to come too high or to dip too low. And breathe. Yeah, it's not easy, but that's okay. Breathe. If you need to drop your knees, it's okay. Just keep the squeeze on the block. It's no big thing. We're gonna go for 3 more breaths. Last breath. Drop your knees to the mat. Slide your forearms back underneath you. Grab that block. Slide it underneath your forehead. Take another rest. And while you're here in child's pose, let your hips sway a little bit side to side. You can even let your head rock a little bit side to side. It's like a little massage for your forehead. And we're going to settle here. And this is our place of rest. So if you do want to unfold and relax yourself all the way out into Shavasana, then like always, you can pause the video, unfold yourself, relax on the floor. Find a place where you can rest and just soak in the post-yoga lovely. And you're going to start to slide your hands underneath you. Slowly press yourself up. Spin that block around so you can take a seat on it. Take a moment here. Try to keep your gaze inward as you transition, even though we're working with props. Let your shoulders relax. And take a moment here. Bring your palms together into Anjali Mudra and bow your head and take a moment to thank yourself. Day 3, you made this commitment, you stuck with it, here you are nearly halfway through. You've got this. So thank you for spending a bit of your day with me. Thank you for practicing with me, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have a great day.